Good morning. Hello. uh, yeah, my early part of my night's sleep didn't go well, again, as usual. And I was awake at midnight to put my video from yesterday up on Facebook. But then I went right back to bed and I fell asleep and I got about 3 to 4 hours sleep in a row, which, wow, wonderful. I know people don't like me, some people don't like me talking about that, but that's a really important part of my life because I battle getting enough sleep. Um, anyway, I did come up with a title today as I've been sitting here meditating. I've been up for a good while, well, almost 2 hours, I guess. Yeah, it is almost 2 hours. The title is Five Skeptics Tests for Swissindo. Swissindo skeptics are not silenced by what I see as the truth, mostly because so many humans have become jaded by the sheer volume of lies we have been told over and over. I'd like to look at 5 of the objections I keep hearing. Are they reasonable? Number 1. If anyone is connected in any way to the old system, it cannot be real. Number 2. If money is involved, it cannot be trusted. Number 3. If governments continue to operate at all, it will end up being the same system of control we've always known. Number 4. If there is any hierarchical structure, it's evil. Number 5. When they say peace, sudden destruction is at hand. These are just 5 of the main objections I'd like to explore with you in this video. I'm sure there are others, but these seem to be most prevalent to me at this time. There's no doubt in my mind but that the human race has been programmed for a very long time. You could also say brainwashed, because that's the truth. Government is a system of mind control. I don't doubt that. Money has been used as a slave mechanism. I don't doubt that. The Illuminati, or those that seemed to have been at the top of the pyramid controlling everything, have not had a very good record of doing good. They have a very good record of doing bad. I get that. Where was number 4? Hierarchical structure has been used, as I said in previous videos, as control mechanisms, as the authority. That's what we've been trained in relation to hierarchical structures, that they are our authority figures. They're the boss. They're in charge. I get it. And then our religions. Christianity, when they say peace, peace, sudden destruction cometh. I think that's from the King James Version of the Bible that I learned. This is programming, folks. This is all programming. Who does it benefit? I always come back to asking that question. Who does it benefit? Oh, I'm using the wrong thing. Let's look at the number 1. There has been a pyramidal structure on Earth, and those that sit at the top of the pyramid, seemingly in control, have a long record of creating structures and of doing things that work against life, work against humanity, do not serve anything other than themselves. They feel they have the right to murder. They have the right to steal. They have the right to lie. They have the right to break all of the basic fundamental rules of universal and natural law. They believe they have that right to rule. I get it. I get it. Now let's think about this for a moment. Let's think about it from the perspective of there is a God, there is a creator who has always had a plan. It's not been haphazard or accidental, no matter how it might appear to us in retrospect. Let's look at the future pulling us forward and taking us into a new paradigm of non-mind control. In this new paradigm, everything is connected. Nothing is disconnected, nothing is separate. Because that's the scientific and the spiritual reality of existence, of all that is. Everything is connected. We are learning that and having it driven home, as I said, both in our scientific community now in the modern day and age, and it has been long the case in the mystical spirituality of our world in all religions. Because everything is connected, doesn't it seem reasonable to you, it does to me, that some of those that are in the top of the pyramid might actually be waking up, might actually be going through changes and evolving? I know some of you believe that's impossible for a psychopath to change. Well, why shouldn't we believe that there's a higher plan and that people can change? I've changed. Probably you've changed. All of us have changed our minds and our perspectives and our beliefs at some point. And if we haven't, I would suggest that we haven't grown, that we're stagnant, that we're stuck in a rut. Because any growing person is going to go through a metamorphosis process, a process of change, in other words. It happens to all of us. And I have no problem believing, and I've talked about this even in times past, and way back in 2011 even I was still talking about it, that some of the Illuminati are going to change hats and work for good instead of evil. I've anticipated that for a long time because I've seen that that was what was going to take place. So it doesn't surprise me that some of those that have been in the control tower, shall we say, are now wanting to do the right thing. That's not a surprise at all. And money. Oh, I agree with you. I see how money has been used against humanity by making us chase money. It has kept us enslaved, which is why back in the 1993, I made a decision that I would no longer chase money. And except for one instance where I went out and looked for a job, I did not chase money in all of these years since then. I have not made money my object. So I understand those that are leery of anything using money. But just imagine for a moment with me what it would be like if none of us had to worry about the essentials, about keeping a roof over our head, about having all the energy that we needed, about having all the food that we needed, about being able to do the things that brought us joy and pleasure and allowed for the maximum creativity. Imagine a world like that, where money was no object, where that which had imprisoned us now has the appearance of liberating us and allowing us to grow and to look at different perspectives and to become the creative beings that we are, without restriction, without being pushed down and controlled by some government. And governments, I agree, have been horrendous. The United States government, which had the greatest promise and the greatest foundation, the world had ever known up till that time in the 19th century has become the worst government on earth. The worst government, with Obama as its head. And of course, Israel is part of that because they are an abomination. That's a nation, that's an abomination because of the people that control it and run it. I get it. It's mind control. It's a sick system that controls and buys all of the media, all of the education programs, owns most of the corporations, if not all of them. I mean, my God, the Zionists and the uh, the Jesuits and the dark aspects of the Catholic Church, and even the dark aspects in the Muslim religion, and the dark aspects in the Hindu religion that keep the caste system in place, and all of these other things. I mean, it's all been there, folks, all along. I get it. It's mind control. But don't you think for a moment that it's mind control because of the programming, because of the brainwashing? Don't you think that it's possible to rise above that and to get to the place where we are no longer brainwashed, where we can begin to see clearly and recognize how we've always fallen into the same traps and avoid those traps because wisdom has been developed? Don't you think wisdom is possible? That there could be wise leaders that have benevolent intent rather than malevolent intent, that don't want to control but want to liberate? Don't you think that that's possible for people to actually create a system that serves rather than a system that takes and controls? Think about it. And hierarchical structure. Oh, like I said, this is one that I've covered again and again and again. There can be good leaders. It goes along with the government aspect. It goes along with the Illuminati aspect. People can change. People must change, or we destroy ourselves. We have to have the ability to rise above the domination system, to rise above the control mechanism, to rise above and escape the matrix while even living within it by transforming ourselves and through ourselves the world around us. And that's God working through us. And then the big one, peace, peace, peace. When they say peace, sudden, just who the hell does that serve? In other words, whoever wrote that, I mean, what a brainwashing tool that is. When you start to achieve the actual thing that you've been working toward and wanting all of your life, when you start to achieve peace, when you start to achieve prosperity, don't trust it. Don't trust it. Be looking behind every bush. There's got to be a deception here. There's got to be a deception because good isn't supposed to happen on this planet. It's only bad. Only bad things are supposed to happen. Peace isn't supposed to break out. Abundance isn't supposed to happen. Oh, don't trust good things. Oh, I mean, my God, don't you dare trust good things. Because if it's good, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. The boom is going to slam you down and hit you really hard. As soon as things start getting good, they're going to get really bad. I mean, haven't you heard that in one form or another? Haven't you experienced it often? Because that's the world we've lived in, hasn't it been? Hasn't that been the world that we've lived in? I know it seems to have happened a lot in my life. That as soon as something good happened, as soon as I experienced falling in love and feeling like somebody was in love with me, sooner or later, the boom would fall and it would end. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I get it. I get it. But who does that serve? Who does believing that that's the way it always has to be? Who does that serve? Does it serve positive change or does it lock us into place? Is it just another trap, another prison of the mind? I work for peace. I work for a world that works for everybody. And I'm one voice. And there are many other voices. And there are many communities springing up around the world. And all of these are good. But none of them alone will change the world. The world will only change when people begin to join together and get on the same team and say, this is what we want. This is what we don't want. We don't want any more system of control. We don't want any government that tells us what to think and how to think. We don't want religions that poison us to believe the worst rather than the best. We don't want any more of this lack consciousness and separation consciousness that has divided us and polarized us and caused us to be at war in ourselves and with ourselves. And we want peace. We want prosperity. We want truth. We want justice. Let's work for the things that we want and stop sabotaging them. We've been very good sabotagers. I know, I have. And most people that I know at all, well, I hear the same thing from them. Self-sabotage has been the way of it. Are we going to stop? Are we going to get on the same page and agree that there are ideals worth working for, worth bringing into creation and into manifestation? Are we willing to agree that there is beauty, that there is love, that there can be justice, there can be peace, that truth can actually prevail? Are we willing to believe that? Are we willing to get on the same page and work together to that end? If we do, we'll succeed. When we do, we'll succeed. It's good to be skeptical. And I too want to see the results. I don't want to just hear the promises. I want to see the results. I get it. I do get it. We all want to see something that is real. Change we can believe in. Not the Obama kind of change, which wasn't change at all. It was more of the same and worse. Are we ready? Are we willing? Are we ready to work together for the same goal of peace on earth and a world that works for everybody? Are we willing to allow forgiveness for those that have played dark roles and are now waking up? Are we willing to allow the structures of our society to be repurposed and transformed to serve good instead of evil? If we are, when we are, we will succeed, because that's the plan of our Creator, for us to prosper and be in health, even as we recognize the prosperity of our own soul. Thank you for listening to today's video and for considering the skeptical tests that have been placed on what I see as the best possibility of success so far, the program proposed by Swissindo. Thank you again for listening. Namaste.